Shortly Theatre for the evening with Mick Miller. Would you put your hands together and give a warm welcome for Mick's special guest, all the way from Phoenix Nights, it's Ray Bond, Neil Fitzmaurice.
Or is it? Ah, there we are. Thank you very much. Oh, this is wonderful. Let me just have a look at you. It's so good to see people. So good to see people. Healthy and happy. Oh, yours COVID. Is that right? Yeah. So many people looking well there. Quite stable. I hope they're alright, actually. I just parked up in the car park there. It's a very popular machine. Now, everyone taking photographs of the machine. I don't know what that's about. That's to make sure we don't get parking tickets, is it? Yeah, right. I'm on board. Thank you very much for that. So I'm Neil Fitzmaurice. It is lovely to be here. Lovely to see you all. We've all had a bit of a crazy year, really, haven't we? Yeah. Bit of a mad one. Let's go back. Let's rewind the tape a little bit. The first lockdown. All that time ago, the first lockdown when we were just... I've got to be honest with you, I kind of enjoyed the first lockdown. I quite liked it. I'll tell you why I quite liked it. Because I'm essentially a very lazy person. So the thought that I couldn't go out, I wasn't expected to go out, I wasn't expected to do anything, kind of fitted me to a T, I'll be honest with you. The main reason that was for me is because my mother-in-law lives with us. God rest his soul, every day's a blessing with her. She's got COPD. Don't sympathise, it's because she smoked 80 cigarettes a day since she was 5. So, God love her. She only came round for tea bags 2 years ago, never left. I can hear her coming through the kitchen like Darth Vader. Absolute nightmare. But I couldn't go out. I'd say to my missus, love, I'd love to go out, I'd love to help, I'd love to go and get food and stuff, but I can't. I can't because I love your mum. And I'm protecting your mum. She's like, well, if that was the case, get off a breathing tube. So, okay. So the first year was great. We just sat in, watched stuff, watched box sets, we watched everything. We've completed Netflix, me and the wife, watched everything. We even watched, right, we were sitting watching this Channel 5 documentary. It was a Channel 5 documentary about swingers, you know? So if you don't know what they are, so it's probably a couple in the crowd, I would imagine. Swingers are people who kind of, like a married couple or a couple who go and sort of have sexual encounters with strangers, yeah? Bit weird, obviously. My missus is quite prudish, so I thought, I don't know whether she'll even enjoy watching this. But we're sitting there watching it, it was quiet in the house. And then this part of the documentary went to a house in Manchester. And this couple came in their front room, and had cameras in their front room, and she come in with a cup of tea and sat down, and they start talking about their experience of swinging. And it went really quiet, and I'm sitting there with the missus watching. And after about 5 minutes, the wife said, oh, I like them. No, I really, really like them. So I'm thinking, what do I do? Do I acknowledge this? Do I say something? Do I let it kind of dissipate? Or do I bring it up? She might have been wanting to say this for years. This might have been her chance to actually come forward and say something. I don't want to snuff that out. So I said, well, all right, love, fair enough. I'm glad you've been vocal about it. Let's talk about it. I quite like her. I think she's quite attractive, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure how I feel about you being with another man. But then I suppose if I was with her, I wouldn't really be thinking about what you're doing. But as long as I couldn't hear anything, that's the main thing. Hearing it would freak me out. But you know, maybe, and we definitely couldn't talk about it afterwards. If we did it, we don't talk about it, we don't mention it again. Unless you wanted to mention it again. Unless it was something that, you know, maybe that's how you get your kicks. And then, you know, we both liked it, we both do it again. And then, you know, and because I've heard it's exactly the right thing for pepping up a marriage that's gone a bit stale. And she said, no, I meant the curtains. I really like their curtains. That was a tricky evening, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to come see, love? No, I don't, but why don't you ask your swinger friends? Right. I wouldn't mind, but I knew I was on for a bit that night. You know, we're a married couple, you know, we've been together a long time, so it's special occasions these days. And I knew something was going on, because I jumped in the bath after she'd been in it, and all the leg hairs were floating on the top, so I thought, sure, she made an effort as well, God love her. And it had been a while, because when I ducked my head under water to wash it, when it came back up, I had a pear and a fringe, and a beard. I look like Barry Gibb. My wife is very, very, I love my wife, she's amazing. She's quite possessive though, I don't mind saying, she's quite possessive. She gets very possessive around me, even if we're sort of in company with with women, she sort of, I feel her arm tightening around me. She gets very sort of trying to pull me away, which is fine. I understand. It's, look at me. You know what I mean? You're laughing a little bit too intently for my liking there, my friend. But it's tricky sometimes, because if you walk around in the streets or something and you have to see someone, like an attractive lady, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to leave my wife, but sometimes you can. I know women do as well. So it can be very, very tricky. It ends up often with a dead arm, you know what I mean? And this happened to me recently, but I found a way around it. Fellas, if there's anyone here, you don't have to put your arm up, you're going to get into trouble. But if there's anyone here who has a similar problem and often finds themselves getting punched in the arm if they happen to be looking in the direction of a beautiful woman, here's my little tip for you, because I've cracked it. I found out how you do it. So we were walking around town, before all the pandemic started, me and the missus, we were going through town, and she was chatting away to me, and she's all chatting away, and then just in the distance there was a crowd of people, and just ahead, bobbing above the crowd of people, was a very, very attractive woman, and I saw her. My wife clearly had smelt her perfume 3.5 miles further back, so I knew this was going to happen, so I felt the arm tighten around my arm, and the sort of the red laser sniper dots in the side of my head as she stared at me saying, if you look at her tits, I'll kill you. So the crowd parted and she come through, this woman, and she was very, I have to say, she was very, very attractive. She was quite a tall lady, quite a kind of like a kind of a catwalk model type situation, and everyone was kind of noticing, men and women was noticing. But I felt this arm tighten. It's a bit like a boa constrictor around the arm now. It was starting to cut off the circulation. And so I thought, you know what, I don't know what to do with it. And then I cracked it. I realised what you do. The only way I'm going to get to look at this woman and not get knocked out by my wife is I stopped dead and I stared at her. And my wife looked at me and I stared at her, and she got nearer and nearer, and I just said to my wife, look at the state of her, love. Look at her, who does she think she is, love, eh? That's not attractive, love. That's not attractive, I can barely bring myself to look at her for much longer. Maybe another 15, 20 minutes and I'm done. That's not, and those boobs are false, aren't they? They're false, them boobs, aren't they? I thought they were, what are they, like double D's? Double G's, you think? God, see, that's too big. There's a lie, no such thing. So, I said, the way she's dressed as well, she's dressed terrible. You're right, love, you're right, she looks like a prostitute. You're right, she does. She looks like a filthy prostitute. I wouldn't mind, I'm too old to do anything about anything like that. Anyway, I'm happily married, and I'm at that age now where I turned 50 during the pandemic, and I just feel like I've gone really old very, very quickly. Is there anyone in the 50 age group around here? Everyone, he's just got old for fuck's sake. The young people, I look at young people and I'm so jealous of the life they've got ahead of them, where they can just go out and get drunk. Young fellas can go out to the age of 19, 20, they can go out on a Friday night, get drunk and drink the whiskies and drink the beers and end up on creosote and I don't know what else, varnish, battery acid, I don't know. And then they'll just wake up the next day and go, la la la! Let's do that again, guys! If I go out on a Friday night now, the following Wednesday, I'm at the bottom of the stairs in a dressing gown, holding onto the banister going, oh, was I fucking thinking, Jesus Christ. When I was a kid, I remember when I was younger, I used to go out, that was a tear, mate. When I was younger, and when I went out, I used to take everything. Oh, I used to take everything, it was fantastic. You know what I take now? I take my own plastic bags to the supermarket. That's how age has caught up with me. When I was a young man, I used to collect phone numbers left, right and centre. I used to collect phone numbers. You know what I collect now? Offcuts of wood. Yeah. Oh yeah. I pulled up next to a skip before and I haven't got out and checked it through. The things that just come about you when you're older, is that everything hurts me now, you know? I have to make noises when I bend down just to make sure that getting out, sitting down is amazing, isn't it? Oh! It's crazy, isn't it? I used to get all of the stylish shoes I used to get. If they fitted me or not, it didn't matter as long as they were stylish. I'd be walking around, blisters everywhere. Now, no chance, sketches all the way, ladies and gentlemen. If it's got a memory foam sole, I am in, let me tell you that. It's crazy, just stupid little things. If I run up the stairs 2 at a time now, I have to make a noise. Hop, 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 hop. If I go out for a drink with my mates, I have to go, right, I've got to have my keys, wallet, handkerchief. Like I know I'm at that age now where I'm not going to be able to go out without blowing my nose in public. I caught myself tugging up the arm of my jumper the other day after I used it. That's a proper old thing to do, isn't it? It's terrible. When you were a kid, you didn't need a handkerchief, did you? No one had a sleeve. And when you were younger than that, you didn't even need a sleeve, did you? You had a run and buffy all day. Come on, your tea's ready. Try to eat. It is the age thing is just sort of cool to me. I was at a fast food restaurant back in the glory days when we'd go out and eat, and I was sitting with my kids, and we were tidying up the table after we'd finished, and I said to one of my kids, "Have you finished with that sachet of tomato sauce?" And he said, "Yeah." I took it home. I take sachets of sauce home, and I put them in a cupboard, right? So I've got mayonnaise sachets, and then tomato sauce sachets, and they're in a cupboard next to the fridge that has bottles of mayonnaise and tomato sauce in. What kind of logic is that? I'm losing it. I need to get fit as well for my kids. You know, I want to see my kids grow up. I want to live a bit longer. I want to get fit. So inspired, this is a true story actually, inspired by one of my uncles. On his 70th birthday, he made a vow that for fitness reasons, he was going to walk a mile every single day for the rest of his life, and he did, and he's 83 years of age now. And we haven't got a clue where he is. So, with that in mind, I joined the gym, and I did the induction day, and that went quite well. It seemed to go okay. And then I was there one day on my own, kind of a bit intimidated. And then this bloke come in. He was huge, and a huge Scouse bloke. And the Scouser you are, right? This is how you know somebody's really Scouse. When they speak, they don't move their mouth. So they talk like that, you know what I mean? Like. So this guy walked in, and he had one eye going for chips, right? So he was a bit like kind of, and he was huge. This guy was huge. He just sort of took up all the room. Before he got in the room, my water was like shaking, like that scene in Jurassic Park. You know when it. So we come in, and he was like, you know, not the sharpest tool in the box, like massive fella, right? Now he had half an ear. And he told me the story. We got chatting, and he told me the story. This is a true story. He'd been in a jail for 10 years. And during his time in jail, he'd been in a fight, he got into a fight, he got half his ear bitten off. And his nickname, you'll love this, his nickname was 18 months, ear and a half. Isn't that brilliant? That's true. Ear and a half. So he's in front, he's on the bench, and he goes to me, I wasn't sure he was looking at me, because, well, I wasn't, but I guessed he was. And he went, do us a favour, here a minute. So I walked over, and he's lying on the bench. He wanted to do some bench press. So he went to do the bench press, and I said, "Yeah, what do you need to do, mate?" He went, lift the weight. So basically what I had to do was, when he was doing his bench press, I had to lift it. If it got too heavy for him, I had to lift it off him. This was never going to happen. Right? He had a small family car on each end of his bar, right? But I didn't want to disappoint him. He was getting decapitated, basically, but I thought, okay, I'll do it. So the idea was, right, when he got to the end of, well, he couldn't do any more, right? I was going to have to take the bar off him, okay? So I went, all right, mate, yeah, fair enough. I said, now, before we start, how many are you going to push for? And he went, I kid you not, he went, somewhere between 6 and 8. No, I'm no Carol Vorderman, but pretty sure he's looking for 7 there, isn't he? There's no mystical land between 6 and 8, is there? 7, isn't it? So, and then these guys come into the gym, 3 or 4 of them started going on the punch bags. They all looked a bit rough, kind of, you know, cauliflower ears, big noses, you know, kind of looked a bit tough, and they were punching away on this bag, and then I had a feeling of a nightclub doorman, pretty intimidating it was, and I could tell, and what really gave it away to do a nightclub doorman was 3 of them held the bag down while the 4th one seemed to put a knuckle duster. So we've all got through this madness, and I've got my kids, my lovely kids, and my kids are everything to me. I've got 4 boys, incredible. Before our kids were born, you know, me and the missus, when we were told that we were going to have our first child, it was an amazing feeling as a parent. And I got me thinking about my dad, who's no longer with us, God rest his soul, but my dad, he was amazing, my dad, but he loved to moan, my dad. Oh, he loved to moan. He used to follow us around the house like 2 foot behind us, just moaning about stuff, just random moaning. So before our kids come along, I said to my wife, you know what? Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to being a dad, right? But I don't want to be a moaning, shouty dad, right? I want to be like a best friend, kind of older brother dad, you know, who encourages and nurtures and supports. I don't want to shout. I don't want to shout at them all the time, okay? And my wife went, yeah, fine. You know, I want to be able to greet my kids from the door from school with a fist pump. Hey, son, how's it going? Yeah, take a load off. Maybe not the beer, but the other bits. How's school been? You know, I want my kids to be able to go into school and say, oh, my dad's amazing, he never shouts at us. No, he never does anything like that. He just supports and nurtures. That's the kind of dad I wanted to be. Not a shouty dad. But then they're born, aren't they? And then they live with you. day after day after soul-destroying day. And then you realise after a few years that actually what you've given birth to are just lazy, good-for-nothing, self-serving, wallet-draining motherfuckers, aren't they? Quite frankly, I didn't want to be a money shouty dad. I didn't want to be a money shouty dad. I spend my entire day now just walking around the house shouting, "I'll switch this light off, shall I? Watch this, boys, get around, look! Oh, it goes off! Isn't that incredible? You have to leave it on all day. Watch this door, it's on a magic hinge. Watch this, lads. It closes, look at that! You don't have to leave it on. Oh, is the front door getting left open for a reason, is it? Is it? What, are we heating the street, are we? Oh, that's nice. What is it, live aid, is it? Oh, that's lovely, that. Let's keep all the people in the street warm, shall we? Gather round, everyone. We're all going to meet in the kitchen. We're going to put Dad's wallet on the floor, and we're going to set fire to it. Should we do that? Let's watch that money burn, shall we, lads? But one of you, for once in your life, flush your toilet! I don't know what it is, but it's winking at me! It's only a button on top. And don't get me started on the bin. Don't get me started on the bin. We've got one of these concealed bin things. You open the cupboard in the kitchen and the bin comes out on a roller. It's got a 2.5 litre bag there, capacity. That's a lot of rubbish, that. 2.5 litres. The idea, as we all know, you put the rubbish in the bag, you fill the bag up, you fill it to the top, and then when there's no more room for it, you empty the bag. No, apparently not. Not in our house. There's another 3.5 foot on top of that, isn't there? When we enter the realms of kitchen bin Jenga then, don't we? Kids taking 20 minutes to balance a fucking chicken wing on top of the pile. Upturned empty tins of fucking beans on top of that, and then like some weird art installation. Some soft arse turns up in his bare feet, pulls the bag out and gets a load of bean juice on his feet. Didn't want to be a money shouty dad, but I've got to be now, haven't I? So it is lovely to do these things again and do some gigs again and just see everyone again. It is so nice. Because you're in lockdown as well, you know, I had that thing where after a while I couldn't not do a bit in the house. My wife said to me, "You're going to have to do some DIY." And so I went down to B&Q, as we did, and I thought, well, I'll do some painting. Because here's the thing about DIY. No one really thinks they can be an electrician, can they? You know, somebody says, like, wire up the house. You don't go, "Oh, I'll do that." You go, "No, I'll get an electrician in." Because I'm not going to do that. Or plumbing the toilet. Well, I'm not going to do that. Get a plumber in. But painting? Oh, we can all fucking paint, can't we? So apparently you don't train to be a painter, do you? You just do some pictures when you were 5 at school and you're qualified. I said, "Oh, we'll get some painting done out of it, love." Goes down to B&Q, he gets the paint there. Buys the deer paint, though. There's about 58 different shades of blue nowadays. That's a bit fun, isn't it? So we get the £35 a tin. Because I said to the missus, "Look, it's all about the paint, love. Get the decent paint, half the job's done." So we get about 8 tins of that, £35 a tin, thank you very much. And then on the way home, we stop off at a cheap shop to buy the paintbrushes, don't we? 15 paintbrushes for £2, because that'll do it. Because you spent a fortune on the paint. You've got to find somewhere to save money, haven't you? You get these brushes out, you shake them, you lose the hair faster than Prince William, you know what I mean? Snapping the paint on with that. By the time you finish, it looks like you've just painted the wall and then chucked a bag of pubes on it, you know what I mean? So one thing I am definitely going to have to do when all this is over. I know people are talking about holidays, they're going mad over holidays. I don't know whether anyone's been on any holidays yet. My personal thing is just wait. Just wait till we can all do it. Don't just, if you want to feel like you're in Spain, don't go to Spain. Just go to Smith's toy store, buy a little sandpit, and go to B&Q and get a bit of sand, chuck that in there, put a deck chair in it, you know, sit in that with your bare feet, and then make a ham and cheese toasty and charge yourself £25 for it. Boom, the Spanish experience, isn't it? I don't understand what all this is about. We need to get away, we need to get this, that, and the other. Just wait. I am part of that process entirely, the wait and the anti-vaxxers. Please give it a rest, will you? You know, you're gonna grow 4 heads. I don't care. I just want to be healthy and fit and hope that everyone else is going to be around me. You know, it gets a little bit too much. So I definitely want a holiday, but I want to wait. I want to wait till I'm ready and everything's okay. We're not getting charged to fill out forms, 130 quid a test, whatever that kind of crap is. Because the last holiday we had was in Rhyl. Yeah, because we're living the dream, let me tell you, yeah. We went to a caravan site in Rhyl. It was great. It was me and the wife and the 4 kids, and we got there on the Monday night. It rained. That was fun. Tuesday day it rained, Tuesday night it rained. Then we discovered some board games in the caravan, so we found Cluedo. So we started playing Cluedo. Wednesday night it rained, Thursday night it rained. By the Friday, I didn't give a shit who killed who, where, and it was, I'll be honest with you. In fact, I tried to club one of my kids to death with a tiny candelabra. What we did on the Saturday, we said, you know what we'll do? We'll go to the indoor pool, right? We might as well get legitimately wet rather than go for a walk and get pissed on anyway. So we decided to go to the pool. Well, that was our idea and 600 other families' idea, right? So when we got there, it was just, as we were walking in, there was just kids sliding down the glass on the inside. And we got in there, we went to the pool, and it was heaving, but we finally managed to get somewhere where we could sort of sit down and have a little chill out, you know. And after about an hour, this bloke come in with his wife and 2 daughters, we found out. He was a big kind of guy. I think he was a bit of a big cheese in the grill, yeah. He had a bubble perm and a pair of cut down leather shorts. You know, he sounded like a bit of a gangster to me. And he come walking in, and his daughter, we found out later on, was 16 years of age, his daughter. They sat down, and she went to the other end of the pool, and she had it wasn't even a bikini thong, it was a thong, it was an underwear thong, is what she had on. And then she had a t-shirt tied up in a knot. And she dived in the pool. And she swam the length of the pool. She got up to where the mum and dad had sat down. And she got out the pool now. Now this was now completely see-through, right? And she had no bra on. And she had these, it was the most, basically what I'm saying is, it was the worst sight for a father you could ever see. It was just terrible. She was a young girl. And the kids everyone was really uncomfortable for everyone in the room. And everyone was trying to avert their gaze because this was a really strange thing to see. So I was just trying to make sure the kids weren't looking at this ridiculous. So I was saying, look, don't look at this, look down there, look at your mum's feet, look at your mum's feet, look at the feet on your mum. Your mum's got feet like Bilbo Baggins, look at the hairs on their toes, look. Of course I wasn't, I was standing going, look at the state of their life. I love going out with my kids. We used to go to pictures back in the days when you could go to pictures. These are things we're going to be doing again soon. I'm so looking forward to that. But going to pictures is a deal to do, especially with the kids. When you've got 4 kids, it used to cost me £50, £60 for them all to go. And the 3D ones were the worst. You know, you go to 3D cinemas, and the kids all say, I want to go 3D, Dad, I want to go 3D. You're paying extra for the glasses. And we don't be sitting there like some weird Roy Orbison fucking tribute act watching the film. And I used to look at the end, and my youngest kid had the glasses off, and I'd be going, put them on! Yeah, the eyes down, I don't give a shit, it cost me 10 quid! And before you go to the cinema, of course, you go to the shop first, don't you, to buy your sweets, because you're not paying them prices, are you? We go home and bargains in Liverpool, we get all the Haribos and the jellies and the little tiny cokes. And we get all the kids have got their own rucksacks, and we put all the stuff in their rucksacks, and they all come walking into the cinema with their rucksacks on, making sure that nobody knows. The eldest lad's at the back, he hates me, he's 26, he's got a SpongeBob one, he's like... And then we all sit down, and then we wait there for the music before you open, don't you? You wait, don't record. Pass that down. You have to cough when you open it as well. Dad, I didn't want Fanta, shut the fuck up! No, good fun. I love my missus so much. My missus was sitting there the other day talking to me. You know, every now and again, you ladies need a little bit of reassurance, I think. Especially what's going on at the moment. My missus looked at me the other day, I was watching Sky Sports, you know, busy, obviously. My missus just looked at me and she gave me that look and she went, give us a love. I said, what? Give us a love. Look, ladies, you want to have it. So what you get then, usually, ladies, you get the double tap, don't you? And you get I'll explain that what it is. So you go to your wife, give us a love. Come here. Oh, I love you. Yeah, I love you as well. Yeah, that's the old double tap that girls, isn't it? We can't help it. It basically means I love you very much, but let the fuck go now. I feel really... I wasn't expecting this, and I'm missing highlights, and... You'll do it tonight. I swear you go tonight. You think of that. The girls try and catch them out. When you go tonight, they'll give us a love, you'll get it. All right, babe, yeah. Just keep hold of them. It will happen. They'll start going through it. So not long ago, me and my missus, I said, this is before all this madness, everything's before the madness, isn't it? Hopefully we'll get back to some normality. Before the madness, the missus turns around to me one night, she went, should we go to pictures? I went, yeah, all right. So she went, well, can I decide what we're going to see? I went, oh. Because I'll tell you why we do that, that happens to you. If you ever say go to pictures and your husband or your partner or your dad goes, oh, I'll tell you why. It's not because we don't want to go and watch your stuff. It won't be rubbish. We always say, like, your films are rubbish, love. Let's go watch someone kick someone in the face repeatedly. Because that's easier to watch. But you girls always look for something that's got a bit of depth to it. We hate that. That's not for us. It'll be a great director, a great producer, it'll have a lot of money spent on it, it'll be a great cast, but it'll probably make us cry. Right? And that's something that we don't do very well. It's not a blokey type thing, you know. So my missus will go, let's go and watch this one. Who will love my children? I'm like, you're fucking joking, aren't you? But this one time, just a couple of years ago, we watched this film, and it was about a kid. I'm trying to think what it's called now. It was about a kid. It was called Wonder. Did you ever see this film? It was about a kid. It's a true story. It's about a boy who's born really disfigured. And it's about how he goes to school, his first day of school, and how he overcomes the prejudice and overcomes the people who are... And but boy, oh boy, fellas, let me warn you right now. Try and avoid this film at all costs, right? Not because it's crap, it's fantastic, but it will make you cry like a baby, right? Now, if you're in touch with your emotional side, that's great, but for most of us, we're not. So, we went to see this film, we walked in, and we all knew, you could tell by the fellas who were all in there who didn't want to be in there. And we walked in, the lights were up, and we all walked down, and we were all like, looking at each other going, all right, lad. No chewing gum, just doing that. All right, lad. Wasn't my idea to come see this, you know. You should shite these films. It was your idea. Sit down, bitch. I'm joking. Have a coke. We had sat down, we all kind of established that we were all tough and we didn't want to be there. We sat down, we started watching this film. It was draining. Emotionally draining. You're sitting there and you know, and I'm watching these scenes, and then my missus is looking at me, and I'm starting. My missus is going, you alright? I'm going, yeah, of course I'm alright, what are you talking about? It's sad, isn't it? No. It's sad, it's all the shite. Why are you crying? I'm not crying, somebody's smoking or something, aren't they? We got to the end of this film, honest to God, I swear to you, it was the most emotional kind of ride I've ever been on. Especially in public with other men in the room. And we got to the end of this film, and the lights came up, and the music started playing, and you could feel a sense of like people had been through this emotional journey, and we were all sitting there drained. And then we got up, and the lights came up, and this fella came over to me, and he just went, all right, lad. I went, yeah, I'm all right, brother, yeah. He went, shite that, would I fell asleep and everything. She was crying eyes, I'm a stupid bitch. I went, anyway, take it easy, pal. Oh, come here, will you? Give us a cuddle. That poor kid, what he went through. Here you go, Neil. I'll just leave you with this. You've been lovely, and I know Mick's just one of my heroes, and they say never ever work or meet your heroes, and I've worked and met Mick on many occasions, and he's just as lovely as you would imagine he is, and a genius as well. But I love film. Film is my background, acting is my background, that's where it came from, that's what I love to do the most. And one of my favourite actors in the world is Robert De Niro. I love Robert De Niro. And what I love about Robert De Niro is how he changes, how in the early days definitely he put weight on to play Al Capone, didn't he? And Jake LaMotta and Raging Bull, he'd take a load of weight off to play taxi driver. He's like a chameleon, you know, and all the films he does, there's something, he always adds something or he takes something away. I remember years ago watching this film called Frankenstein. Couldn't wait to see it, because De Niro was playing the monster. I thought, well, this is going to be a transformation, this is going to be incredible, isn't it? I mean, he's the best actor in the world, and this is like, what a part. Start watching this film, you know, he's not in it for the first bit, and then it's Kenneth Branagh overacting his little socks off, and then he starts putting the monster together. He puts it all together, he puts it on the table, and then he attaches the electrodes to it, and he's waiting for the thunder and the lightning, and the thunder starts, and he pulls down this handle, and the lightning hits the inductors, and it goes through, and the monster goes, and Kenneth Branagh looks right down the lens, and he goes, it's alive. Because he went to RADA. And the monster suddenly jerks and gets up and turns, and he turns up to the camera, and it's De Niro, and I'm sitting going, this is going to be fucking amazing. And he turns around to the camera, and we see him for the first time, and he's about 9 foot tall. He's got a coat on. I don't know where he got that from, because he was naked before, but I didn't ask, right? And he turns around to the camera, and we see him for the first time, and he just looks, and goes, and he's got this purple face, bald head, scarred, where he's had bits attached to him, and his ears hanging off, and he looks at the camera, and we see him for the first time, and he goes, I wish I could do the voice. Guys and girls, you've got a wonderful, wonderful evening ahead of you. Thank you for being listening and being patient. Keep safe. It is wonderful to see you all back. See you all again soon. I'm Neil Fitz. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Fitzmaurice.